have a list of characters, which will probably bring us to more things that we liked about the show, or maybe even disliked. So let's go through the list here. Let's start with Wanda. You guys have any more thoughts on like Wanda overall, like for the show?
I just wish we didn't have to wait so long because I love the fact that she's now. I love the fact that we find out she's had the powers as a kid. I love the fact that she's now embracing the full force of the Nexus magic, the Chaos magic. I just wish we didn't have to wait so long to see. I mean, we might get some. I know it's supposed to tie into Spider-Man. No Going Home now. Apparently, that's the title. But we'll see. Yeah, Going Home. Yeah, but basically, I know we'll probably see some of the effects there, but we're not going to see more of her until Doctor Strange. That's not going to be until late next year.
Yeah, I mean, I like Wanda. I like Wanda's arc. I feel like it's finally rounding off, as opposed to like before she was kind of a character in the peripheral for most of the movies, right? Like she was, especially in Civil War, it felt like she was kind of like a widget that was being used to move the story along, as opposed to an extra character that. Which is why I love in episode 8 when we see the other side of that, when we see that scene of when she's at the compound and Vision's there, and she's trying to process all that stuff that happened in Lagos, and Vision is there for her, and we understand why they had a connection, why they kind of fell in love, but we really hadn't seen a lot of Wanda, because even in Infinity War, it was that one scene when they were on the run, and then when they come back for fighting, and then they both die. And then she has her moment in Endgame, but by then, like, she's so much more powerful now.
Well, and I like that there was that one they were talking about, and it was episode 5 or 6 when it's all three of them together, and they're talking about how like Captain Marvel, basically stopped Thanos, and then Jimmy's like, well, Wanda almost stopped her too, and you realize that, hey, oh wow, yeah, in some cases, Wanda probably is more powerful than Captain Marvel. At least now, definitely more so. But at that point, you probably could have gone, who was the most powerful character at the Endgame?
For her character growth, I'm curious because she has used her magic, I guess at the beginning out of fear, then after a while it's out of anger.
Yeah,
and then like this whole thing is out of like despair. So when she learns what is her healing, because we're assuming that she's healing right now, but she went through this whole thing and we never saw like a put together Wanda. Mm-hmm. I mean, she kind of knew what she did was wrong at the end. I'm just really curious about where she's at mentally, because we're assuming she's healing by having tea and living out in the woods, right? That's a quick resolution to mental health, and I kind of hate that idea. So I want it to be more in depth. I mean, we know Thor is going through mental health issues. Mm-hmm. Him showing up fit in the next movie is not going to make me go, "Oh, well, he got better." Like they need to show that progression of mental health and how they're going to heal.
All we know is he doesn't have dad bod anymore in the picture they've shown.
With Wanda, it does feel a little more realistic, because a lot of people that do have some mental health issues, like, they seem fine on the outside, which is how she looked with the her corporeal body moving around, having tea and hanging out in the cabin. But we know that there's inner conflict. As the viewers, we know there's inner conflict and stuff that's going on the inside. So yeah, I like it. I love the new outfit. Like, it's so good.
The
comic
crown and everything. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of disbelievers on this one.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
But I like how because the only other time I've ever seen them actually go, like, any character who's ever done the crown was with Polaris in The Gifted. In the second season of The Gifted, she actually took the medal and actually made herself the green crown with her magnetic powers. And so I was like, okay, so
I always look at Shatterstar kind of having that same kind of headpiece, and he had that in Deadpool 2.
Yeah. Oh, I guess he did. Okay.
Okay. Did I get one on Kylepedia?
No, I just okay. So it happens every once in a while. I got to update myself every once in a while.
He has to archive some things to free up the RAM. Okay. Obviously, the Fox universe is not like right up against the. I will say, and we can wrap one up with this, which is one of my favorite comic things that happened when the Hex was closing. When she opened the Hex to let people out, and the kids in Vision started like deforming into the puzzle pieces. That was a really cool, felt like an homage to that Joe Quesada cover.
Exactly.
From House of M.
Yeah.
Which is like, if anybody watched my video from Friday, my favorite comic book event.
Real quick, Clay, on the whole Thor topic.
Yeah.
Thor Corps #1.
Beta Ray Bill,
Thunderstrike, and the Dargo future Thor.
Oh my god!
And they released some pictures of, and this is another tangent to Thor. They released some pictures of Natalie Portman, and she looks like she's buff. Like,
I know, I've seen those. Like,
really?
she's gained muscle.
Yeah. I'll put them on the Discord later. But, my god,
more buff than what Gal Gadot did for Wonder Woman.
Her arms look insane. Like, I don't know if it's prosthetics or if it's really her, because it's hard to tell in the pictures, or if it's like some kind of weird I don't know. I'll put the pictures up. But yeah, if man, because Natalie Portman, for the most part, I picture her like in Black Swan.
Yeah,
she's tiny, right? She's a tiny person.
But yeah, that's I'm excited for Thor, so we'll definitely talk more about that in the future.
Well, I mean, we also got to realize that in 2 weeks we're going to start again. Like, they're going full force with the Marvel stuff. So in 2 weeks we're getting Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's not like a month and a half period. It's like WandaVision ended. Actually, I think it's what came out yesterday or Friday. Next week, and we're getting the making of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then starting the week after that Friday, we're starting episode 1. So we're going to be going full forward with 6 episodes and doing another review. So like, I mean, yeah. And then if that they split, and then they go into Loki, and then
we're gonna be busy that weekend because we have Falcon, Winter Soldier, Justice League, and Invincible all coming out on the same.
Oh God, that's right.
So we're gonna have a 10-hour podcast that Sunday.
I don't have Amazon, so I can't watch.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to. I'll add you to my family.
It's okay. I don't have Paramount, but I still want to watch Lower Decks.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I might get Paramount. I don't have money, but I'm somehow going to get that channel.
All right. Let's touch on Vision real quick. If there's anything else you guys want to say about Vision.
Just to tie the two together, for me, my favorite moment for them is that scene where they're sitting on the bed together, where they're talking about loss and everything. For that whole 5-hour show, that was the best moment for those two, and my favorite moment in the show.
Just the end when she tells her kids, "Thank you for choosing me as your mother," and then and then just her having to, basically when Vision just disappears. It's like the way she's having to give up this whole family of hers. It's like, really? First it's dark, now you got to gut wrench me. It's like, come on.
when he says to her, it's bad. I read somewhere that it's bad luck to say goodbye in the dark, and she kind of calls him on it, and I love that because it's like she knows him even though he is an AI. Yeah, he's trying to make her feel better, and she's just calling him out on it.
I can't wait to see the Fab and Beyond episode this week because I know Kevin Smith posted a picture of him, like he had just finished watching the episode and he was crying, and I mean. I think Kevin Smith's threshold for crying is a little lower than mine, but I love when he talks about this stuff.
No, good.
I think we enjoy this stuff so much that it's definitely very emotional at some points, right?
His eyes looked more watery than the first time when he first posted that one with the Flash back in like 2004 when he's calling his mom, and he shows the video and he starts bawling, but this one, like, it almost looked like he had hay fever, like in his eyes. His eyes were so bloodshot red. It was just like, oh my God.
According to the last episode, he hasn't been able to smoke pot because he had a mouth surgery. So I don't know that he's been smoking. So this is, fully aware Kevin Smith. Maybe, I don't know. I'll listen to the episode and see.
The weed will make him hypersensitive to it, though. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, if it made him cry that badly without the weed, like, it was a really powerful episode.
Yeah, most of his tear-jerking videos are after he's been smoking. Yeah. This one, he has nothing in his system, and he really has a low threshold for emotional TV.
I tweeted out to Kevin Smith and Mark that they validated us talking about our decaying bodies at the beginning of our episode. Because I was like, okay, so it's not uncommon for other podcasts that are about comic books to do that, because him and Mark spend like 30 minutes talking about his mouth.
Oh God, yeah.
So I love that. I mean, he's kind of our role model for all this. Okay, let's move on to maybe the MVP of the show. Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness, which I will say this is the one fan theory that everyone got right. Everyone's like, Agnes is Agatha, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I never had a doubt about that. I kept hoping I was going to be right, but I never really. It's like it's too much to not think that she's going to be Agatha Harkness.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we talked about her a lot, but I'll reiterate, Catherine Hahn just destroyed this role. Like, she took it, and I hope she comes back. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad, like a lot of MCU villains, that she didn't die at the end of this.
Oh my god! I mean,
she was put away, and someone's going to free her, and she's going to come out of that with some anger.
Let's take a count here. How many MCU villains have not been killed? Abomination.
Yeah, Abomination alive. Zemo's alive.
And Agatha.
Yeah.
Everybody else is.
We don't know exactly what happened to Yellow Jacket, though, because didn't he fall in on himself? And
I just take that he got killed. I just take it that got himself killed. I mean, you could be right. You could be right, but
I thought he might have ended up in the quantum realm. And since the third movie is going to be about that, maybe he would show up.
He's in Latveria with Dr. Doom.
Yeah, because he was not a very well used villain, so I always feel like they should call him back.
Well, I guess technically, Ghost didn't die either, even though she was never really a villain.
Yeah, she's just getting the help she needs now.
Yeah, so I guess technically we have okay.
But like out of all the like Killmonger, they killed him, and that was like Claw. They killed Claw, and that was a really good.
Oh my god! No,
I realized
that
he was so yeah.
I still say they could use the theory of his physical body dies, but his soul it somehow comes back as the embodiment of his pure sound. That has to be able to be done.
Or just put him in a life model decoy for a while.
Yeah. All right. We have Jimmy Woo next.
Oh my god.
He needs his own show.
Yeah.
The Agents of Atlas. Since that's what he's doing in the comic books. I want to see that Jimmy Woo with the Agents of Atlas, please.
I want him going between TV and film. I want him in both.
To be wrapped up with our next character, I want Darcy's character to be part of his team in this show because they were really good. They're really good working together.
Darcy is his what am I blanking on Batman for? Oracle.
Yeah. Correct. Oh yeah.
She's so great. She is so great.
There were some news, unconfirmed fully, really, that they're trying to develop an X-Files type of show for Jimmy Woo.
Darcy would be perfect. Like, yes, Mulder and Scully, Woo and Darcy. It's like it makes perfect sense.
And maybe even that Cliff guy that he called at the end. Everybody was like, "Who's Cliff?" People asked me like, "Who's Cliff in the comics?"
Who's Cliff in the comics?
I don't know. Was it the Cliff Bar? Like, there's a Cliff Bar. Cliff is not very.
It's a little Easter egg. It's Cliff Clavin. It's how they tie into Cheers.
Yes.
Yeah. Back to the sitcoms. I did feel Darcy was a little underused at the end because I wanted to see more of her in the Hex.
Very underused. She got to take out the sword baddie Argyle style from Die Hard. Just run her car into him and give a quip.
Greatness.
She just drove Vision around. So that's another sitcom, Driving Mr. Vision, that we have Darcy
and Mr. Vision. Oh my god.
But Darcy should show up in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, I think she is fine.
It would make sense.
Or in Thor. In Thor Love and Thunder, if they're on Earth.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, they're still
use her more.
She'll still be friends with Natalie Portman's character.
Do you guys ever think that they'll cast a Rick Jones? Is that an important character in the MCU to put into the movies?
If they had kept the MCU a little bit more tied to the 616 universe, yes. But they've changed so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a small bit of me that dislikes the fact that Vision was a pure creation of Ultron and then Tony, and not in some form or fashion Hank Pym. Like, I wish, like, if they had, not the Vision, but Ultron. If they'd been playing, like, I think it would have been nice Easter egg when Steve and Tony went back in time and they're at the barracks, and and Steve's trying to get the Pym particles from a young Hank Pym. If we'd just seen a small thing like some document on the table that said Ultron schematics, I would have been fine with that. That's where like you find out later that Tony had basically found him and wanted to go further with him. But if the original idea had somehow been tied, that would have been fine for me. But they changed so many things. You know, Vision was supposed to be made like, I mean, he was never. We just lost Daniel. But no, it's the fact that like Ultron was supposed to be made of like adamantium, but we don't have adamantium because of the it's made out of vibranium. So again, Cap's shield was pure vibranium in the comic books. It's a mixture of all these different things. So it's like the whole it originally was just basically gamma radiated body. No, but in this one it was basically a way of him creating the super soldier serum. So they've taken some liberties and changed the history a bit. So it's like Rick Jones now, like I could see him becoming like a side character in one of the episodes of She-Hulk. I don't know if we're ever going to see him as a main protagonist in any of the show movies.
He just seemed to tie a lot of things together in the 616. So I was always curious if they ever would have him show up, since we kind of have a non-traditional Hulk origin in this one. We don't really have one.
Well, it's going to be different, like with the Externals, or the Externals, the Eternals. We're getting Dan Whitman, who's the Black Knight, who's not an Eternal. He's a human who basically the legacy of the original Black Knight from Camelot. So I'm curious to see how they're going to tie that into the series.
Yeah, I've done a lot of pieces to put together, and they're going cosmic and supernatural. So
I know. Somebody threw it. It's not real, but somebody threw out that there was rumor that they had read. It's one of these sites that basically they're Henry Cavill in discussion to play a possible Marvel superhero, and it basically, I know, but their theory was Captain Britain.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, I could easily see.
I like that.
Yes. It's still mystical. He's not a mutant. It's Merlin. He gains his power mystic by the power of Merlin. He's the embodiment of the mystical forces of England. Henry Cavill, plus he's British. I mean,
that would. I was thinking of Sentry. I was like, they'll play him as Sentry. That would be kind of a nice opposite casting. But I'd like Captain Britain.
I would rather Captain Britain in a heartbeat. Even if a TV series. Let that be a Disney Plus BBC oriented kind of show for them to do on the show. That would be perfect.
Okay, I want to troll Daniel when he gets back. What would you say to a full Squadron Supreme casting of the current Justice League?
Well, you heard what they're doing. I put a link in the thing yesterday for what they're doing for Heroes Reborn, right?
Oh, the police?
Yeah, so basically they're calling themselves the Squadron Supreme of America.
Yeah, but no, I want to take Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot. I want to take all the members of the current Justice League and cast them in a Squadron Supreme Marvel movie.
Oh, well, I heard everything you guys were talking about. I mean,
well, okay, hold on. If they don't, then just take the actors we have in some form or fashion from the Justice League have in the CW universe and have them play. So if not Henry Cavill, Tyler Holston. If not, what's the speech here on Squadron Supreme? It's the
give me Stephen Amell.
As Nighthawk.
Yeah.
Oh God, he might do it too. Oh my God, that would be awesome.
If we don't get that Henry Cavill Captain Britain movie, I'm gonna riot.
No, for once I'm with you.
Right, I love that idea.
I want that so bad.
That is a great idea. Who would you have play his brother Jamie?
Oh.
It has to be somebody weird.
No, he'd be. Well, I was gonna say, what about he's done it before. What about? No, he's already been. I was gonna say, Kilgrave. I can't even think.
David Tennant.
But he's already been in the MCU, so you couldn't play Jamie.
But he's on old MCU.
Matt Smith.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, or somebody who's. No, Jamie. That's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, we may be putting a show together later for this, where we just cast.
Wasn't one of Jamie's powers altering reality?
Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah. He's doing. Well, I mean, that's what he's doing right now in Otherworld. He's
I kind of want to go to Legion and put Dan Stevens in that role, because he already did Legion, and that was really weird. Jamie's on that same level.
Yeah.
All right.
Now what are they thinking about this?
Let's wrap up WandaVision here. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, and we can talk about our conclusions and all that. I feel like there's something that's happening with the fandom, because we go into a lot of these shows knowing so much, like so much from the comics. We go in knowing so much from like just all the back behind the scenes of casting and stuff. And I feel like a lot of that stuff is raising people's expectations to what the show is going to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's leading to a lot of people kind of being disappointed. Like all these fan theories, when they don't come true, like like people are angry and disappointed because they feel like, and it all kind of started happening with Star Wars. We had, Force Awakens comes out, nobody knows what Snoke is. There's all these theories of what's going on, and then it goes off the rails, right?
Yeah.
I feel like something kind of similar happened with this, where we're like, well, Mephisto's there, and like, oh, this has to be this one thing that I read on an issue because I saw this Easter egg one time. What do you guys think about the fans just overhyping themselves?
I hate the fans, but I love the fans. It needs to be a one-way situation in this, because fans don't control the art.
Right.
If you are a fan, like no one went and saw Tenet and said, you know what, if he just did it a little bit like this, I'd like Christopher Nolan. Like,
right.
That's essentially, you're just telling them you don't like what they're doing 100%. You want it to be like this. Go create your own stuff then.
Well, and the other thing is, like, this was wrapped up and shot a long time ago.
Yeah.
So, like, and the Clay thing, a lot of them are. And that's the thing. That's where, like, the thing of YouTube. I have a friend who's an actor out in LA, and because, especially now with the COVID going on, it's been hard for him to even try to get work. So he basically creates his own stuff on his own YouTube channel, which basically makes it easier for. And he's a huge comic book nerd too, so it's just like.
And if you don't have the rights to something you like, then make your own thing. Like the Ninja Turtles, they just came out of Daredevil, and they were a riff on all that stuff that was happening, right? All the Frank Miller stuff, and just
not
make
even
your
that.
own thing.
There's a YouTube channel you guys probably know about, Bat in the Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do all the certain like versus Wolverine versus Wonder Woman kind of stuff. But they're doing like a live action. Their own version of Batman stuff right now on their own YouTube channel, which actually is pretty decent and dark.
I think they did a Ninja movie as well. They're working on a Ninja from Valiant.
Yeah, so it's like.
Yeah. So I really I hate to see people shit on the show because they didn't get what they wanted, and I don't think that's what we should expect from media. Like, I don't know. A lot of the time we don't even know what we want until we're kind of there.
Yeah, true. I mean, I kept saying I wanted that to be Quicksilver and introduce him into the universe, but the Frank Boner payoff for me was funnier and worth it. So I really don't know what I want until I'm watching it and happy with it, and that makes me a fan. I don't like to take the approach of, if we don't have this, we'll riot kind of mentality. And you see that a lot, that it's like, well, we have to have it this way or it doesn't matter. Right.
And I say jokingly, but I will riot for that Captain Britain show.
Yeah.
Okay, that was it. I know we didn't really. I wanted to touch on Monica Rambeau before I had to step out for a second. I'm excited to see. Well, first of all, her powers are super cool.
Yeah.
How did she stop bullets? I don't know, but she did. I don't know if she knew she was going to stop the bullets, which makes it even cooler, I think.
We never address her mental health. And that's the other thing in here too. We have, because she admits, she goes, I know what I know what Wanda's going through. She has come back. Her mother has passed. She has had no time to grieve, and now she has to go help Wanda because everyone else is trying to kill her.
Yeah,
and the organization that she dedicated her life to turned out to be like not full of, but like led by bad people.
Yeah,
which can't be good for yeah.
I just, Monica needs to resolve those things to be able to move forward, and I'm worried that we're just not going to see those things. They're just kind of given as a character trait.
Yeah, I feel like Marvel, now that they have Disney Plus, they could go back to doing the one shots and just start telling those shorter stories. Like a one shot of Monica Rambeau, like taking a day to really process everything, something like that. We're talking about another, like, just any side character that they introduce. Like, wouldn't you want to follow Darcy around for a day? Or like, how did Darcy go from Dark World to working for Sword, or like being recruited by Sword? Like, something like that. Like all those little things in between, like those Marvel one shots were really cool. I love a good one shot when it's got a good story in the comics.
Just think of the science changing. Just the fact that she was into science, and all of a sudden a person comes down from the sky that rewrites everything we've ever known, and she's on the cusp of that.
Well, here's what I want to know. It's because, it's not like in Infinity Gauntlet that everybody knew there was a big battle happening in Wakanda. It's not like everybody who was in the blip came back and realized there was this big battle in Thanos who the Avengers kind of defeated. Yet, like, only 3 weeks, this is only supposed to take place a few weeks after Endgame, and yet Darcy and Jimmy and all they were talking about, oh, well, Captain Marvel stopped Thanos. No, Wanda did it too. It's like, where did you get all this information? And then she's like, wait, the Vision's supposed to be dead, not blipped, dead. It's like, where did you get all this freaking information? Where did the world in this in 5 years did all this data come to the rest of the world? I mean, I almost feel like the way that MCU kind of operates, a lot of it's behind the things. Not everybody knows there's an Ant-Man. Not everybody knows, kind of there's the Hulk now. But, I still feel like a lot of superhero stuff is still kind of behind the scenes and not well known. So it's like...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people on Earth know that Nick Fury is actually still alive. I started thinking about that after rewatching Winter Soldier. At the end of that movie, he's dead to the world.
Yeah.
Only we know that he's alive. Like
we haven't seen Maria Hill at all either.
She was working for Stark Industries after that. That's about it. That's about it. Then
she disappears with
but then she shows up in a Spider-Man, so we don't know if the time she appears in Spider-Man was she a Skrull, was she real, was she
right? So.
Because that's been a long time rumor that she's a Skrull.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, now
or she's working with Shield, or she's working with Nick Fury up with the aliens for all we know.
Yeah. All right. I think we definitely talked all our WandaVision feelings out. But if anybody has any more questions or comments, leave a comment in the video or send us a tweet. We'll be happy to address some more questions or whatever. Like I said, I did a video on reading recommendations for Wanda. I'll post the link below. Just a few different things just to read more Wanda if you want to read more Wanda. And not just the Vision book, because that's really about the Vision. Not I think Wanda's in like one issue of that.